Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Mark Clements Postcards. It's a new year, 2025. Hope everybody had a nice Christmas and a nice holiday season. We took a little break over the holidays to rest up and recharge our batteries, and me and the postcard pups are ready to go for another year of working with amazing old postcards. And as always, we are here to show you what we sold over the past week. So let's get right into that. If we look at the sales for last week, which was December 29th of 2024, through January 4th of 2025, the year that we are now in. We see that we did $517.51. I expected a drop over the holidays. That's normally what happens. People are busy with other things. They've got family events and all kinds of things to occupy their time, and I don't expect them to sit around looking on eBay all day long. But actually, sales didn't do too bad over the past couple weeks. Really, they stayed fairly normal. We had some up days and some down days, as we always do, but it all kind of came out in the wash, I guess. So, as I said, last week was $517.51. That was made up of 55 sales. Now, that number is down a little bit, as well as the total sales, but for a week that included New Year's Day, I think that's all right. And our average sale price was $9.41. So, let's look at what made up these numbers here. First item up for sale, we have the Heidelberg Reformed Church in York, Pennsylvania. Interesting card, has all kind of information on the front of the card here, not just identifying the church, but giving you some dates for some events that were coming up back in 1907. So you've probably missed those now, but if you had been interested, here were the dates for those things. They had an infant school and a rally and a Bible school and senior school. And there were the dates for those. It is a undivided back era card. It was posted, as I said, in 1907. And that card sold for $5.95. Here is a buyer who bought two cards. This first card is the library in Franklin, Pennsylvania. It is a white border card. It is unused. This card features the deckled edge or scalloped edge on it. Excuse me while I scratch my nose. And as I said, this buyer bought two that he made offers on. This one was listed for $5.95, and he made an offer of $4.55, which I accepted. And he also purchased this second card. This is a library as well. This is the library at Bucknell College in Lewisburg, PA. And it is a divided back card published by Rotograph. And it is unused. And this one also was listed for $5.95, and he made an offer of $4.55, which I took. So the total on those two cards, I believe, is $9.10 or something like that. Here's a view in a national park. National parks don't always sell real well because there's just so many of these cards out there. But this is a view in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. And here you can see, not I'm not sure if that's a child or a woman sitting there, but we have an onlooker taking in the view there. This is a chrome card. It is unposted, and that one sold for $4.95. Here is a motel card. This is the Westview Motel in Pleasantville, Pennsylvania. Kind of a far away kind of view. I don't know if it gets in a little closer. Here you can see the building, and there's some cars parked there. It is a Chrome era card. It is postally unused. And that one sold for $4.95. Next, we have a view on the Lincoln Highway, a topic we have discussed many times here on this channel as we take a tour on the Lincoln Highway, which we still have a ways to go as we look at cars on the Lincoln Highway. This one is in Stoystown, Pennsylvania, and this is the Height House, which was a hotel along the way. It is a white border card, and it is postally unused. That card sold for $7.95. Here is a view in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. This is the Sagamore Bridge. Here you can see the bridge here on the right side of the card, and it's going over what looks like a little lake or pond here. It is a divided back card. It is not postally used, but it does have writing on the back. And this one is published by Detroit Publishing, a popular publisher. And this one sold for $5.95. Here is a view in Green Bay, Wisconsin. This is the Wisconsin State Reformatory. Not a place that you would probably want to go normally. It is a linen era card. It is postally unused. It looks like a nice, clean, sharp-edged card. And that sold for $5.95. Not $595, $5.95. Here's an interesting card. This is the Curtis Seagull airboat flying over the ocean. I know Curtis. I don't know this person's first name, but they were an early aviation developer, like the Wright brothers, had a lot to do with early aviation. And this is an airboat. This is a white border card. It was posted in 1925. And I took an offer on this card. It was listed for $39.95. And I got an offer for $30, and all things considered, I thought that was a reasonable offer, so I accepted that. Here's a view in Lansing, Michigan. This is the Estes Leadley Funeral Home. I don't have a lot of funeral home cards, but we come across them occasionally. This is a linen era card, and it was posted in 1948. And as you can see, that one sold for $5.95. Here is a view. It says the Crescent Grade on the William Penn Highway near Hollidaysburg, PA. This is a white border card. It was posted in 1935. I have traveled this stretch of highway many times, and I can tell you it looks nothing like that. Now the highway has been significantly widened. It's 4 lanes and quite a lot more open in appearance when you go through this area than it was at this time. But that, of course, is to be expected. This card sold for $7.95. Here's a real photo card. This is a view of the Overlook Camps in Westminster, Vermont. I assumed that was kind of like a roadside stop where you could stay. I could be wrong about that. Maybe these camps were used for something else, but maybe like a church camp or something. I'm not sure. card doesn't really say, but it is a real photo view. It was posted in 1939, and that one sold for the list price of $9.95. Next, we have 3 different cards, all to the same buyer, and they are all leap year related cards. Here, the first one, you see a woman sitting in a guy's lap, and it says, "Leap year comes but once in 4. Hustle now if you'd make sure." So we have that one. It is divided back, being this was actually the leap year in 1912. It doesn't say that on this card, but it does on one of them, and they all appear to come from the same series. So this one was unused. It sold for $4.95. The next one, another leap year card. It says a leap year scrap, and here we have 2 women, and I guess they're arguing over that same guy. The one woman and the man are the same ones that were in the previous card, but now a second woman has entered the picture, and now we have more drama. And this one also divided back, unused, from 1912, sold for $4.95. And then the last one in this series, this one says, "This is leap year. I want to propose. Give me a chance before the year goes." And we see a woman sitting in a chair, and she's got a 1912 calendar up here. Maybe you can see that. The thing about this card, it has this big white blemish, and it looks like some kind of a surface blemish, and it's left this kind of a transparent, or I don't know what's the word, opaque blemish on the face. And actually all 3 of the cards had that to some extent, but this one was the most visible, and I thought that was going to be an issue, but I listed these cards at the same time, and they sold, all 3 sold like the next day. So I guess that wasn't an issue. So this one, as the other one's undivided back, it was unused, and it also sold for $4.95. So that's 3 leap year cards. And I don't sell a lot of leap years, so that was an interesting sale. Here's a Christmas-related card. This is an artist signed card, Ellen Clapp Saddle. It says a Merry Christmas. Has a little girl there with looks like some holly and a purse. It is a divided back era. It was posted in 1918. And it does have a little spot here, a little stain or something on the front. I don't sell a lot of artist signed cards, just occasionally. If I see one that's nicer than average, I'll put them up. This one was listed for $5.95, and I received an offer for $4.55, which I accepted. Next up is a nice military aircraft. This is a C-141 Starlifter aircraft. It was stationed in Travis Air Force Base in California, and it appears to be flying over the Golden Gate Bridge, if I'm not mistaken. That's what they looks like. It is a Chrome era card. It is unused. You can see that on the back. And this one sold for $5.95. Here's a nice roadside card. This is Goodspeed's Tourist Court and Dairy Bar in Northeast Pennsylvania. A multi-view card. Here you have the little cottages down below, which you could stay in. And here would be the Dairy Bar, which looks like it's a restaurant. I'm sure they have more than just ice cream there. There's a Coca-Cola sign there over the front door. Maybe you can see that. And so a nice roadside card, a linen card. It was unused, I believe. Don't see the back there, but yeah, it was unposted. And that sold for $5.95. Here is a view in Sycamore, Illinois. This is the Kishwaukee River. It says Kishwaukee River scene. That would be the river here to your right, and here's some trees and on the bank here to the left. It is a undivided back card. It was postally used in 1907, although it appears the stamp has fallen off. And not a fascinating scene. There are no people, no buildings to be seen, and it's just a very rural scene. But that one sold for $8.95. I would imagine probably because Sycamore, Illinois is not a very large town. Here is a postcard folder. I do not sell a lot of postcard folders, but when I do come across one and I think it's a little bit more interesting than normal, I will list it. This one is a collection of Western sports pictures. You can see we have some cowboy and some cowgirls on the front, mostly cowgirls. And on the back cover, which shows a rodeo scene there at the Colorado State Fair. And with folders, I don't usually show all the scenes inside because there can be anywhere from 12 to 22 scenes on the inside, and that's just too time consuming. And so I'll just show a couple to give you an idea of what's in there. These are all rodeo scenes, as you can see there. Bucking bronco there, bucking bull there, and another one. Pretty rough stuff going on there. But all cowboy western related, rodeo related. And that postcard folder sold for $4.95. As I said, don't sell a lot of them. I have several boxes of them, and most of them I don't even bother to list them. But occasionally, if you buy any amount of postcards, every time you're going to accumulate a few of these. And if you can find some of the more interesting ones, they are sellable. Here is a military ship. This is the USS Claude V. Ricketts. This is a guided missile destroyer. And this is a chrome error card. See, it's unused. Nice clean card. And that is a military ship. It's sold for $4.95. Here is a real photo, one of the real photos out of my recent purchase of 4 albums that I showed you all the contents of those albums. And the last album, number 4, had a large number of real photos. Unfortunately, a lot of them were not identified, as often happens with real photos. This one was not. If we look at the back, you can see nothing there to be had, no information to be had on that one to help us out, and no writing on the front either. But as I looked at this group of people, I did notice they were all wearing a little ribbon on their chest, a ribbon or a badge of some kind. And so I thought, okay, well, these people must have gathered for some kind of an event or commemoration of something, or I don't know what it was, but I thought it was interesting that they had those little ribbons on there. So I decided to put it up on eBay and see what happens, and it's sold in pretty short order for $9.95, even though we have no idea who these people are or where this was. But sometimes that won't keep you from selling it. Next up, we have another real photo view. This is a view in Maxville, West Virginia. It says Yoakum's Motel. I'm not sure which building the motel is. And then and restaurant, which I believe is this building to the left here. So the motel must be this center building. It doesn't look very big. But it says motel and restaurant, mouth of Seneca, West Virginia. Mouth of Seneca. I guess that's the name of the town. I forgot. No, Maxville was, but it's Mouth of Seneca has some relevance there to that. It is a real photo card. You can see some gas pumps here in front of the building, an Amoco sign here. Looking on the back, we can see it was not posted, and it does have a bit of a brownish stain or streak on the one side here. When we look on the front, there's just a little hint of it around the edges here. So some discoloration or damage there. This card I listed for, this also was out of that same album that I just mentioned with the previous card that had all the real photos. Fortunately, this one was actually identified. I listed this card for $49.95, and it'd been on for about a month or so, and I got several offers on it, which were lower and I declined them, but recently, the other day, got an offer for $35, and I thought, all right, taking into consideration the stain on the back, that's not unfair, so I let it go for $35. Here's another interesting card. This is the entrance to mine number 35 in Windber, Pennsylvania. Windber is a town near Johnstown, and a lot of mining and that up in that area. So here you can see, we can enlarge this a little bit. Here's the entrance to the mine. There's some miners sitting here. Is one of the cars that they use to transport in and out of the mine. You can see a tipple, I guess that is, up there. And this card was postally used in 1912. A divided back era card. And there's the front, not too much wear to that one. And mining cards are generally pretty good. That one sold for $24.95. Next up, I had a buyer that bought two cards, both from Bedford Springs, Pennsylvania, which this view is. This is the Bedford Springs Hotel, divided back view, posted in 1912. And they made me an offer on both of the cards. I want to say this one was listed for $7.95. I think I took an offer of $6.50 on this one, and the other card was less interesting. I think it was listed for $5.95, and I took an offer on that one for $4.55. So two cards from Bedford Springs, PA, to the same buyer. Then we have a New Year's card that's appropriate for this time of year. There we have a Happy New Year, and we see some angels, cherubs, whatever you want to call them, ringing this big golden bell. And we got some four-leaf clovers decorating it there. It's a nice looking card. It is embossed, as you can see from the back. You can clearly see the design. And really the only flaw to this card is a little corner bend. You can see down here, the bottom left corner, a little crease, but it's not, doesn't really take away from the card too much. And a nice, attractive holiday type card. That one sold for $4.95. Here is another real photo card from the Real Photo album that we talked about earlier. This is a soldier, and fortunately on the back we had a little bit of information to go on. It says, with compliments from J.T. McGarvey. He was in the 9th Infantry in the band stationed in Laredo, Texas. So that information was very helpful. Looking at the front here, we'll make them a little bigger. You can see him dressed in his military uniform there, holding his trumpet or bugle or whatever the proper name for that musical instrument is there. And I listed this card for auction I started at $24.95, and that's what it sold for. But you can see here it has two bids, which tells me that the buyer put in a second bid because he wanted this card, and he increased his offer with the second bid, but wasn't necessary. No one else bid on it, but still I'm very happy with that. $24.95 for that real photo. Next are two cards, both from Maryland. This first one says Sidling Hill Creek, a trout stream crossing U.S. Route 40 west of Hancock, Maryland. And the second one here says Licking Creek on U.S. 40, 5 miles east of Hancock, Maryland. So, these are very rural cards. If we look at them both here, that's just a stream going over some rocks and with trees there. Here we have, again, a little creek running through a wooded area. These are not cards. If I had been flipping through a box of postcards, I would have passed these over because there's really nothing that attractive about them. And they're not really technically like the kind that say greetings from Hancock, Maryland, down here at the bottom. That'd be a little different, or a scene near Hancock. These actually identified these two streams, and but I thought they were kind of boring, but they were just in amongst some other cards I had, so I decided to list them, and wouldn't you know it, they sold almost immediately. They were both started out at $5.95. I got an offer of $5 a piece for them, and I was very happy with that. That's what they sold for. And they were both unused linens. Next up, a view in Hamburg, PA. This is the State Sanatorium. And it's a white border card. It was used in 1939. You can see it's got a little bit of a watermark down in this corner. And that also shows on the front, but not quite as bad. But that card was listed for $5.95, and that's what it sold for. Next up, another buyer who bought two cards. This first one is the Santa Fe Streamline Train, the Tulsan. And at the time of this picture, it was in Cherryvale, Kansas. It is a chrome era card. You can see the Santa Fe logo there on the back. Nice chrome view. And this buyer also bought this card. This is an artist signed card. This is picturing the P&LE Railroad College Curve west of Beaver Falls, PA. And the artist is Howard Fogg. I sell a lot of these cards from this artist, Howard Fogg. He did mostly railroad and industrial railroad scenes, and he seems to be a very popular artist. When I come across his cards, I always buy them if the price is reasonable. And so I have a buyer with two cards. Again, the first one, Santa Fe Train in Cherryvale, Kansas. That sold for $5.95, and the artist signed card, Howard Fogg, sold for $4.95. Here's a card from a while back. This is says vote for independent John Anderson for president in 1980. I do remember 1980. I am old enough to remember that. I remember when he ran for president. And here is a card. Not sure who issued this card. This card is on kind of like a cheap paper stock. And it's unused, as you can see here on the back. And the pictures aren't that great. It's not the highest quality image or card I've ever seen. But an interesting history, piece of history nonetheless, and that sold for $4.95. Here's another real photo from the Real Photo album we've talked about several times today. This is another one of those photos where no information about it. Here you can see this one was glued in an album at one time because we still have some of that album paper stuck to the back there, glued to the back. It's probably not coming off, and I wouldn't attempt to get it off. But on the front is what we're interested in. Here is a group of young women, and they are all dressed as Indian maidens. Now, I don't know if they're actually Indian maidens or just dressed as. It looks to me like some of them are wearing wigs. Now, they all have bands around their head, and they appear to have, it has writing on it. I can't make any of them out or understand what they're saying, but I thought it was an interesting photo nonetheless. So I just listed it as a group of young women dressed as Indian maidens, because that's all I could tell from looking at it. And again, I put that up for auction at $9.95, and it got a bid and sold for $9.95. So you can sell unidentified real photos, if at least if they're interesting enough. And in this case, I think it was. Here is a view in Clifton, Massachusetts. This is Gun Rock Point. You can see some houses up here off of the shoreline. It looks like a really rocky shoreline. It is a divided back card. It was posted in 1912. And that one sold for $7.95. Here's a view in Indian Rocks Beach, Florida. It says Indian Rocks on the Gulf of Mexico in the Sunshine State of Florida. It's a colorful card. Not a lot to see, other than you see a lot of old cars here in what must be a parking area. And then some trees, and through the trees we can see some buildings, and I see some water in the very distance there. So a colorful linen card. It was not posted, and that sold for $5.95. And then the last two cards again go to the same buyer. These last two cards actually come from my hometown here of Greensburg. This first one is the administration building at Seton Hill College in Greensburg, PA. It is now Seton Hill University. And this is a chrome era card. It is unused. And you can get a sense of the age by the cars parked here. Some 1950s era type cards in the driveway there. That one was listed for $5.95, and I took an offer, and I can't remember what it was. I'll say $5. And then this second card here is a linen era card. Again, this is Seton Hill College in Greensburg, looking at it from a distance. And this would be that same administration building up here on the hill, kind of in the center. And as I said, linen card, and that was posted to 1941. And that went to the same buyer as the other one. This one was listed for $5.95. I'm pretty sure that one I got an offer of $4.50. So that was, as I say, two cards to the same buyer, both of Greensburg, PA. And that's kind of my sales for the past week. And so that's all I have for you today. I'm hoping to do come up with some newer ideas for some things to show you as the year progresses. I haven't quite settled on those things yet, but I'm working on it. And so we're going to get some more content for you. If you have any ideas of anything you might like to see or for me to show, please let me know. I'd be happy to do that if I can. But in the meantime, if you like this video, please give us a like. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do that as well, because both those things will help us to grow and reach more people and keep making some content. And so until next time, we thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.